Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's carefully constructed public image faces what could be its most serious collapse yet. According to investigative author Tom Bauer, a collection of unreleased audio recordings exists that may expose Meghan in her most unguarded moments. These alleged tapes reportedly capture her speaking candidly in private settings, dinners, phone calls, and side conversations, about media strategy, brand control, and the use of relationships to further the Sussexes' agenda. If made public, the remarks would not only damage Meghan's credibility but also implicate Harry as a silent participant in these behind-the-scenes negotiations. For years, critics accused Meghan of being manipulative, but these recordings, if authentic, would serve as concrete evidence. Instead of the polished public figure who speaks of compassion and authenticity, the tapes allegedly reveal a calculating voice, discussing who could be leveraged for positive press and which connections had outlived their usefulness. Some sources even claim Meghan used phrases that echoed the long-dismissed rented kids conspiracy theory, framing her children's appearances as tools for optics rather than private family moments. Even if not meant literally, the perception of children being discussed in such transactional terms could trigger a devastating public backlash. The implications for Harry are just as grave. Since stepping back from royal duties, he has relied heavily on his reputation as a devoted father and principled husband. That protective image has shielded him from much of the criticism aimed at Meghan. But if the recordings suggest he sat silently while such conversations unfolded, or worse, laughed along, his moral credibility collapses. In the eyes of the public, silence would equal complicity. A man who positioned himself as the guardian of his family would instead appear as an enabler of cynical PR maneuvering. This potential scandal threatens more than personal reputations. The Sussexes' financial stability rests on deals with platforms like Netflix and Penguin Random House. If tapes reveal unfiltered discussions about staged appearances, misleading narratives, or fabricated charity initiatives, they could open the door to lawsuits or contract breaches. Corporate partners, already cautious after past controversies, would likely distance themselves rapidly. Donors, sponsors, and charities cannot afford to be tainted by associations with reputational dishonor. In the business of personal branding, trust is currency, and once it evaporates, collapse follows swiftly. The timing would also be catastrophic. Netflix, competing fiercely in the streaming wars, is unlikely to bury explosive content. Having invested heavily in the Sussexes, the platform could seize on the recordings as its most valuable asset, regardless of the fallout for Harry and Meghan. If released, the tapes would overshadow not only the couple's philanthropic ventures but also any attempt at reconciliation with the royal family. Once public opinion turns, especially around the sensitive issue of children being used as image props, even sympathetic allies in Hollywood and the media would retreat. What makes this threat uniquely damaging is its permanence. A written allegation can be spun, denied, or reinterpreted. Audio recordings, however, are visceral. The public hears tone, intent, and context directly. No palace backdrop, no professional lighting, just unfiltered voices. Tom Bauer, known for building his exposés on verified sources and legal fortification, would not risk releasing them without confidence in their authenticity. Once broadcast, no press team could reframe them, no sympathetic interview could undo their impact. For Harry, the danger extends beyond reputation. These alleged recordings would retroactively justify why Buckingham Palace always held the Sussexes at arm's length. For years, Cortes hinted at undisclosed reasons for mistrust. If the tapes confirm Meghan and Harry discussed their children and brand in such terms, the palace will need no defense. Public outrage will defend it for them. Any bridge back to the monarchy would not just be burned, it would be obliterated. The fallout could leave Harry isolated on all fronts, cut off from royal reconciliation, abandoned by commercial partners, and stripped of the credibility that once defined his post-royal identity. Meghan may attempt to weather the storm by reframing her comments, but Harry's silence, if proven, would haunt him. His brand was built on being different from the monarchy, warmer, more human, more protective of family. If that foundation crumbles, little remains. In the end, this saga may not conclude with the redemption arc the Sussexes once envisioned. Instead, it risks hardening into a cautionary tale, a story of how two people, in pursuit of freedom and influence, may have undermined the very trust and authenticity their public standing depended upon. If the alleged tapes exist and are released, reputational collapse will be swift, unforgiving, and likely irreversible.